I saved it in a baggie.
Did you really?
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. I'm Shane, and we're here with our next podcast episode right here on YouTube. If you're watching us or on your favorite podcast app, you can listen in the car or on the go. We appreciate that. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us out a lot. We want you to comment below as well. Tell us what you thought of this episode. Let us know who you agreed with, disagreed with on whatever topic we're discussing at any time. We'd love to chat with you down there in the comments. Please like this video and share with your friends. Let's get some more collectors in here, have some more fun. We have some live shows coming up soon. So the more people in the crowd, in the chat, in the live chat, the more fun it'll be. Let's bring the fellas in now. We have Charles. Hello, Charles.
What's up, Shane?
You were trying to hold still, but your lips were quivering. Yeah, we knew you were here. Johnny from the Deep South. Welcome.
I wouldn't say Deep South, but
yeah, well, I'm looking to move.
South for
I'm
sure.
looking to move where you are at, so I'll have to figure out what the lingo is.
Well, you'll be South Georgia, so
yeah. Are you like opposed to the coastal people? Like, are those different people?
Oh, they're totally different. Yeah.
I remember the first time I mentioned it, he said, "Don't move to the coast," and I'm like, "Well, I ain't moving to the mountains." Christopher's here. Hello.
Hey.
And I think you guys know why I had to save the last for last. Brandon Alamo joins us. He is
my hero.
He's coming to us from California. What are you? Oh!
Whoa! Holy!
Oh!
Holy stachio.
I was going to ask him what he's drinking, but I think the mustache is in the cup now.
Yeah, it fell off.
Fell off. It was fake this whole time.
You look so much better without it.
Oh, I don't know. I like
I'm
it.
going for that. I was hoping I looked a lot better with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of the hairs fell off on top of his eyebrows too, because his eyebrows look extra bushy too.
He had to make a
say
decision. He was going to either shave it off or he was going to go full on and get the red Ferrari, the old 80s red Ferrari, and drive around like Magnum PI.
Magnum.
Well, I feel
Yeah.
like I lost 10 pounds probably because the mustache was about 5.5. So
Did it
Yeah.
smell? Like, did it smell when you shaved it?
yeah, like burnt hair.
He burned it off.
Did you use a lighter?
Yeah,
I
he
shaved
burned.
it off last night, and it's already growing back.
Correct.
I was actually going to say that's about maybe day 3 or 4 for me.
Incredible.
It is funny though, as we were probably all younger in our 20s and, some people had facial hair and some people didn't. You'd start to see guys like experiment for the first time. Like, since you've known them for a couple years, they never had facial hair and they start to try to grow it in and it just doesn't come. Like, it just can't. It comes in patches.
It grows in spots and stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. And they have to just give up.
Not Brandon. His hair has hair.
I was shaving when I was 13.
Months.
13.
So, who is very excited for this topic?
Controversial topic.
I
Ooh,
think
what could
I
it
think
be?
Christopher is very excited. I think Charles excited for any kind of controversy. So he hears one whiff of this topic, he's all in.
All in.
Brandon, I have to see. I think he could go either way. I think he likes some of these things, but he's very rigid in how he sees them. So we'll see. And John
Is John.
is old school, guys.
He's just running a toy store.
Yeah, just John.
He puts his figures out. They've got fair prices. He sells them. That's the way he goes.
How's Hillary?
There she is.
Did she get my mustache?
She didn't. Well, it looks like it, but no. She didn't.
I feel like tonight's topic is bringing it back old school, like we used to talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
And whether you
tonight's-
agree or disagree, I think everyone has something to say. And I think we're all the same. We're on the same wavelength here, on the same page when it comes to this topic. But we definitely have something to say about it.
Absolutely.
Each one of us.
Right. So tonight's topic is talking about vintage Star Wars figure variants. And that goes for officially recognized variants, variants from the factories, different molds, known different paint applications that were released that way, you know, that they were variants when they were on the shelves in the 80s, those type of things. And I'm sure there's some gray area too, but it also crosses to the other end of the spectrum in here we are 2023, and apparently we're finding new variants every week and month these days after 44 years. So for I don't even know how many years it is now. What is it? 45, 6?
About 45, 46.
6 years. Yeah.
Let's call those variants, though. Fake variants.
Yeah.
Variants.
Variants.
Okay. All right.
You remember what Jim Swearingen said, right? When we had him on?
Yeah, I do. Go for it.
If you guys don't remember that, please check it out. I think it was one of our first
I read
guests,
it.
first episodes. See the link down in the bottom of this this channel. Anyway,
Yeah, John.
he said that there were no such thing as variants, only errors
Yes. Or mistakes.
or mistakes.
Yeah, I think he called them like, you know, mistakes or happy mistakes, something like that. You know, Bob Ross used to call everything a happy mistake when he was painting on TV and messed up somewhere. You know, you'd never know it. If you do call them happy mistakes, it's because you just like to find differences. Like this is why people collect, you know, 12 Luke Bespins, because they don't just want a blonde hair. They see like, you know, the different color paint applications, and they collect 10 or 12 of them because they like the variation.
They want the brown hair, the orange hair, the olive hair.
Yep. The honey mustard, the spicy mustard, spicy brown mustard.
the buffalo chicken.
The buffalo chicken is a good one,
Yeah.
right?
Buffalo chicken is a good one.
And that's where we end up stepping in shit. Because people just keep looking for them and finding them. And just looking and thinking they have a new one when all they have is
Made up.
not a new one.
Well,
Made up
I don't
garbage.
you can't really call something or declare something a variant if you have one sample size. You know?
John, even if you have 5 or 10, we're talking about 5 or 10 out of
750 million.
7 million of each, you know, whatever.
This goes back to the whole short V variant. It's
Boy.
It's a bunch of midlife people that are like in their 50s, and they just can't let go of the fact that this died 45 years ago. Like nothing new was coming out. Stop making new stuff up. Like nothing more is coming out, so these people just like make stuff up off the top of their head, and then they try and get like a crowd behind them to actually follow with it.
So the leader of the short V, what was it called? The short V movement was Shane. If you go back and you rewatch the short V episode, Shane is in love with short V. You would think he married a short V and he had 3 short V kids because he was all in.
Well, listen, let's think about it. Let's start
Now
from the
he's
beginning.
all out.
If you have a choice, what are you choosing? You're choosing a long V or a short V?
Long V.
You're going short V.
I go the long V.
Long V.
I would take the short V if it's to me, but if it's mine, I want the long V.
Well, I hope you don't have any V, Charles. That's what my point is.
So I think there's a difference is what we're trying to talk about here is that to me a variant is something that ended up on a min-on card that wasn't affected like the first, basically when it hit the shelves, right?
Right.
You had R5D4s that had no red bars, and then you had R5D4s that had a red bar. So that to me seems like a recognized variant because they were all out. They weren't manipulated at that time by, you know,
Sunlight,
people,
weather.
sun,
By the elements. By the
heat,
elements.
Yeah.
time
Right.
being, I think the sum of all those things put together. So, and I think that's what we're trying to get to at this episode is what exactly is a variant now due to the amount of time that's passed between something that was mint on card to now in somebody's hands. And I think that's what we're seeing hit the pages now are items that are considered to be variants by some people that are just basically, subject to time, and that's how they end up now. And people seem to recognize that or not.
I'll say what you want to say. They're taking a $10 to $20 item and they want $200 for a piece of junk because it's now degraded or yellowed or it's gold. Or
can you be more specific?
I wouldn't even say it's $10, $20. It's a $5, $4 piece of garbage. That's exactly what I listed at on our page. I would never, ever list it for more. It's a $5 piece of garbage. That's exactly what it is.
Well, these are some of these figures. Here's where I think some folks get really agitated with this. People who have been in the hobby for a long time and have done their research and know the figures, know what qualities to look for. If they're looking for high-end figures, what areas to look for paint rub and, imperfections and things like that. It's twofold. One, we've seen a lot of the same figures, and they're generally considered beaters or better than beaters. Maybe they don't have a lot of rub, but just the paint is degraded and changed color. And they're figures that are on the low end. If you're somebody who just, likes oddball stuff and it's, you got everything already and you're looking for something different, maybe that is something you would grab and just put on your shelf. But the problem that collectors have is, there's newer collectors in the hobby. There's newer collectors in the groups, and you're taking figures that have been known to be $5 and $7 figures for years and years and years, and now you're trying to take advantage to some degree of newer collectors who don't know any better and think this is something really desirable,
100%
expensive.
Yeah, they're turning it into something that it's not.
It
Which
may
one
be
are you talking
desirable.
about?
Desirable is the wrong word. It's that you're making them think that it's expensive and rare, and that's
which
that's
variant are you talking about, though?
How about I don't even remember what color it was. Green chest Dengar.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
garbage.
That's a figure that you would kind of toss into a bin if you came across it in a collection because you'd be like, oh man, this is totally discolored.
I've told Charles this before. Every time I get a collection in, Dengar is, for whatever reason, is one of the figures that don't sell. He just doesn't sell. No one cares about him.
Yeah.
So I have like a bin of Dengars just sitting there all together, and a couple of them have green chests. They're all degraded, whether it's an arm or leg, whatever it is. They're all $3, $4 figures. No one wants them.
Now, I can't say that I've actually done this, but you guys do know that I have like doubles, triples, quadruples of stuff. Maybe I haven't even shown you close up, but just because I find like some weird differences, I'm like, oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah,
and I'll just slap it on the shelf. If you put up, like 8 Dengars on a group, a random, collector group, if you put up 8 of those Dengars and one was like a green chest and they're all $4 to $7, yeah, I actually might buy that one just because I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool. Like I just appreciate that it's
same here.
Shane, the test of time.
Shane, at the ICC con, did you buy a green legs Chewbacca?
Yes, I have it right here. I bought this.
Now, is that considered a variant?
A lot of people do, and this is one of the old. Listen, I don't.
Did it come like that mint on card?
Green legs?
Yeah.
Oh, there's no way.
Green limbs. Sorry, green limbs.
Green limbs. I do call it that just like out of joking, like that's the name it goes by.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry my shirt is green, so I don't know how well I'm showing this to you, but you can see how different the limbs are from the body.
The degraded limbs Chewbacca.
And there also are some that call it, green pouch Chewbacca if the paint on the pouch has degraded.
Metallic pouch,
metallic pouch.
So now, if you came like that when it was released on the card, it was not that color.
No.
Right.
If you want to say a Chewbacca is $4 or $5, and then you want to take that thing, and maybe charge 10 because it looks cool, I'm all for it.
But people like Shane bought it, and I think he paid $10 for it.
But I'm fine with that.
It's a cool looking figure,
But once you start charging $100, $50, $120, and actually calling it a variant,
well, that's the thing. You can charge whatever you want for it, but you can't really call it
a variant.
Technically, yes, it's a variant of the figure because it's degraded. It's not the same figure as you can find on a mid-on card. I understand that.
West John?
I was going to say, I think a lot of these figures that are variants now came into question before this drive for discovery of variants, because that is a recognized variant when it comes to grading. Now, I don't recognize it as a variant. I see it as a degradation, right?
I've never seen a green limbs Chewbacca.
I have. I've seen
Graded?
green limbs. Yes, it even says it on the sticker.
UKG,
Now,
I want to say, labeled it in the very beginning, which they did a lot of things, but they've since changed their stance.
But that's before it came into question whether it was degradation or if it was because I remember 20 years ago, people talking about a green limbs Chewbacca.
Yep.
Well,
I remember 20 years ago, people talking about a short V gonk. Now, all this stuff came about
20 years ago, short V gonk?
Yeah.
No way.
They had them.
Shane had the
you're not an idiot if
fire, and he was running up to houses, and if you didn't like a short V gonk, you set your whole house on fire.
Yeah.
Now, I don't.
They did.
He was leading the charge.
But I think this whole thing came into discussion before. I don't think they grade them that way anymore. But if you look at some of the older grades,
like
it will say you can find some that say green limbs Chewbacca.
Absolutely, yes, it does.
So let me go back for one second.
Where it says green, it also says green snake for Yoda.
Yeah, and there's no green snake.
No,
there's a brown snake and there's an orange snake.
AFA,
there's even a yellow snake.
AFA did the research on the brown snake. They actually spent money. They hired people and they did work into that. And they found out that every green snake is just a degraded brown snake. Now, I know CAS still labels it green snake once in a while. I don't know why they do. And I know UKG used to, but they since stopped. But that's not real either.
Let me run back just for 2 seconds. And, Brandon, thank you for calling that out because this is a great example. I've had some where the limbs were discolored a bit, different level. This one I saw in person. We were literally hanging out at the hotel bar and somebody broke out a bunch of, figures of all sorts of shapes.
Oh, yeah.
And this one, I know you can't really tell over the screen. This one is so degraded. The legs are so different in color from the torso. I started laughing and I'm like, how much you want for this? I'll slap this on my shelf. This thing looks ridiculous. So that's kind of like where I came from with it.
They're cool. I mean, I'd buy those too because they're cool looking.
Yeah.
I wouldn't send them in for grading and expect the grading company to slap on their green limbs Chewbacca.
Right.
And I think somebody had a Yoda that they were angry about because it either did not get graded or it wasn't recognized as a variant by AFA or CS. I can't remember who it was, but it was a Yoda.
It's not a variant.
It was a Yoda that they're like, this is a gray head Yoda. And they're like, well, there's no such thing as a gray head Yoda. It's because it's degraded. So they didn't grade it. And the person was all pissed off about it.
Yeah. And what's weird is like, if you look at the markings and if you know the COO markings on those figures that have degradation, they're from different factories. If you know what factory that comes from, then probably all the green leg Chewbacca's, the green limb Chewbacca's came from that factory. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they all
come
from the same. Yeah, they all come from the same one.
If we opened up one of Brandon's bigger drawers and pulled out all 246 Yodas that he has and lined them all up, you would see like a whole rainbow of different tones of green, gray, brown. It's been 40 at ESB. It's been 43 years.
I'll walk back my
doesn't
comment.
last.
I was going to walk back my comment. That Yoda it was graded, and I think it was graded low. And I think there's not a spot of, there's no paint missing on this Yoda. This Yoda is perfect. It's a gray head, and there's no paint missing. Why did it get a 70? Well, people were like, because it's degraded.
Yeah.
That's why I got that grade. And they're like, no, it's a variant.
Let's go back in time. We have old episodes. We always said the maker of some of these variants are 50-year-old men living in their mom's basement.
They don't get laid. They don't get laid.
Need to get laid, and they have nothing to do, and they want to make this $5 or $10 thing $200. It's worthless. Like that Chewbacca should be worth less than a regular. It's not brown.
It should be, yes. It absolutely should be.
He was never green. He's brown.
Yeah, people like what it looks like, so they're willing to pay up for it and pay what you want.
This goes right back to what John was just saying about the label, about the Greenland's Chewbacca. On the labels, they used to put blue smock and purple smock for an Ugnaught. And then after all of the research, they finally realized that there's no such thing as purple. They're all blue, and it's just degraded. It's degradation that turned it to purple.
Right.
Who's researching? Who's like the scientist who's like, he's working on a cure for cancer, and someone's like, "Hey, can you look into the Ugnaught smock?" They're like, "Oh yeah, hang on 1 second. I'm going to put this cancer research on hold. I'm going to look up a smock."
If you take the smock and you put it underneath like a microscope, you can still see blue thread somewhere along in there.
Who's doing that?
Shane. A grading company. That's exactly what they should be doing. A grading company should be doing this.
They have microscopes?
I would think so.
They should have electron microscopes.
That was such a good question for Ross. Do you have any microscope?
I don't mean like an old science, like an old science room microscope. But obviously, you're a freaking grading company. If they don't have that technology, then something's definitely wrong.
Maybe they're only using a dick face, and they're not actually using a microscope.
Yeah. Well, if they're only using dick faces, well then.
Maybe they have the dick face, but they only use the top one and not the 40-time multiplier. You know, they didn't get real close.
I have a question. Why doesn't the green snag variant go for more money than the blue snag variant? Because to me,
there you go.
The green snag is degraded, but yet
you're going to get someone selling it now.
It is not recognized. It is not recognized as a green snag.
People knock it, and people knock it.
Yeah, you get less money than a blue snag because.
Do you know why?
Because it's degraded.
No, because the color of the figure is in the name. Blue snag. It's like Luke Skywalker. If his name was Luke Orange Skywalker, then yeah.
Well, I'm gonna find some degraded blue snags, and I'm gonna say that they're blue-green snags, and they're a variant. I'm gonna sell them for a lot more.
Yeah, and then we're gonna make fun of you, and you'll be on this show.
Then we're gonna make an episode about you.
But that's funny that figure, when it's degraded, is worth less,
right,
than the normal version.
Most of them are worth less.
All right, so guys,
but nobody recognizes that one as a variant.
How about the pink limbs Leia? It's worth. It's crap.
Pale hands. I've seen pale hands.
Or the green metallic hair.
Oh, I just got. Yeah, see, I just got one of those.
That wipes right off.
I got one of those.
Wipes right off.
Only about 2 months ago. It was a very normal price. It was maybe I paid, I don't know, $5 or $7 more for it. And I was like, yeah, I'll pay $20 for that figure. It's an incomplete Leia, looks nice, and it has metallic green hair. It was $20. I'm like, yeah, I would for $20. I would love to have that on my shelf. That's cool. But would I pay $150 for it? No.
So you got ripped off though. No cape, $20.
No, and I don't feel that way because it was something that I liked. And
Shane, that's $3. It's like a $3 or $4 figure.
It's people like Shane that are buying these figures for $200.
You just got 5X'd.
Shane just got 5X.
You know what it's like?
Join the movement.
You know what it's like? It's similar to if you're in a store and you see something and you're like, "Oh, this is $20," but you know there's another store like 10 miles away where it's $14. And you say to yourself, do I want to spend the time and drive 10 miles to save $6? I do a lot too, Charles. I do. Yeah. But every now and then you're like, you know what? I'm here right now. I could get it and go on with my life. I think I'm just going to get it and enjoy it and not worry about the $6. That's kind of like what that is like to me.
We're talking about $6. You got 5X'd though.
Why? Because it's supposed to be a $3
figure. You paid $20.
Well, let's
see where I have it. I would have grabbed it.
That guy's feeding his whole family now from just one $3 Leia that he had.
So let's do this. Let's talk about the real variants that are recognized. I just have one in my hands here, so I'm going to throw it up. This is a molded legs Han Hoth. So if you can see the shininess, the plastic shininess on the legs, you also.
As Brandon said,
I can't believe
that in a mock that way.
I can't believe, and I can't believe. So was it in a mock that way? No, because the weapon was not in the hand.
Oh,
in the
stop
mock.
it! You know what I mean.
The hand is already damaged, so I'm
Shane
displaying
loves
like,
putting weapons in the hand.
The paint on those gloves, if you just look at it,
Yes, that's true. They chip.
they will chip.
yeah, no, it is not a mint figure, so I don't even think twice
Well,
about
obviously,
it.
it's in your collection. Obviously, it's not mint.
Yeah, you were there when I bought it. You know what it looks like.
That's true. I know. I saw it.
So, but okay, so that is a completely recognized variant because instead of the legs being painted, instead of the legs being molded blue, and painted, the legs were molded in tan, and the upper legs, the bottom of the coat, was painted instead. Mm-hmm. So another example, and you brought up R5D4. Even before the red bar, forget about that. There was the 77 and then the 78. The head on it is a different mold. Charles, you taught me this.
Yeah.
The point, the one has the point you can feel on your finger on the head, and one is much more rounded. It's just you can just feel it. So that is a different mold. Literally, those heads were molded out of different molds. They were on the cards that way. And the funny thing is that is an exact relation. Sorry that I'm still full screen here. That is an exact relation to the short V. The short V was molded with a different mold. That's why that thing on the side is different.
And no one cares about either.
Short V was such a fake variant. It only lasted a couple months. All those people got ripped the F off, and they paid. They got 5.
They did.
They got 10x'd.
I will continue to fight that is a variant because it was on the card that way.
You can continue to fight all you want, but it's still worth $25.
That's fine. You can determine what it's worth, but
I'm with Shane.
They crashed in price.
It's a variant. It's an obvious variant. It's a mold variant.
So I didn't come up with it, but
you can call it a variant, but it was not $100 variant though.
I didn't come up with it, obviously. And when it started,
Shane sold his for that.
when it started, I put it up like Deal or No Deal.
Shane sold his for over 150.
Yeah. Deal or No Deal. That's where I went.
That poor guy right now. Yeah. He can't even feed his family. He's getting one extra value meal, and they're all splitting it.
Charles is sending him care packages every month since. So obviously, I didn't come up with that. But when it started to be posted in the groups, we had a conversation very similar to what we are having now and what we had before we chose this topic. It became a thing. I thought it was hilarious, and then I thought it was 10 times more hilarious when you guys got so angry about it. So that's when I started posting Short V for life and picking up the movement. I thought it was the funniest thing ever because you make you guys so mad.
The movement died.
That's fine.
Like, you were walking and you got tripped, ran over, and
I'm
slashed.
Fine. I'm fine.
Shane,
you're not even alive anymore.
The Han Hoth that you have now, that is a variant, but it's one of the sneakier ones and one of the ones that you can't really tell when it's mint on a card.
Right.
It's hard.
Like the white legs or the painted legs, small head Han.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one. And those are very subtle variants. It's not like the to me the most obvious variants, and this is the wrong toy line, but Power of the Force 2 was the short and the long saber. Remember those when those came out, like the Luke with the long saber or the
long short.
No one cares about Power of the Force 2 other than Jameson Graybill. That's it.
He's making a point.
What I'm saying is that you could see those on the card, and that was an obvious variant that people were like, "Oh, it's a short saber and a long saber."
He made a point 3 episodes ago to Ross about an airline about losing luggage. It was so far off.
Yeah, I had no idea what he was talking about.
I just rewatched that. I was dying laughing.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, the customer service thing. The customer service. Yeah, just having a person there to answer the questions is a lot better than having nobody at all. But
yeah.
So back to variants. Yeah.
Squid head.
Let's just
talk about, before we do that, talk about what other variants you guys can think of off the top of your heads that are legit recognized variants.
Luke Jedi, blue saber, green Jedi, saber. Sorry.
Snap cape, sewn cape.
Yeah. And there's specific COOs that those accessories go with.
Painted legs Maydeen.
We're not getting into
legs Maydeen.
We're not getting into specific whatever.
See, like these paint variations and stuff like that. Like if you can't tell when it's on a bubble that it's a variant.
Granted, they're painted The legs are painted.
Yeah, big deal.
Wait, Brandon, what did you say?
Legs.
I said that if you can't tell if it's a variant, if it's on the min-on card, then to me, I don't really think it should be considered a variant.
You just said you can't tell a Han.
You can't.
You can't really
molded
tell
leg.
this.
Big
Unless
variant.
you
Yeah,
scratch
you
them.
can.
Yeah, it's not a variant then.
You totally
Mark it off. Yeah, mark it off.
Oh, I mean,
What about
yes, John, you can tell on the
it's
card,
hard,
but
it's hard for a Han.
it's hard. If hard for a normal person that isn't a 50-year-old living in their basement
not
with a pair of tweezers and Cheetos.
not getting laid.
You know, like it's hard for somebody that's not that to know that it's a variant. Like, a snap cape or a blue or a green saber to me is so obvious it's a variant that any regular person would be able to tell.
Lando, teeth, no teeth.
Yeah,
Teeth,
that,
no teeth.
you
Okay,
can see
you can
that
tell
on
the
the card.
difference between a short V and a long V on the card too.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Nobody knew
Yeah.
or cared about that until 2022 when Shane had
I disagree.
liquid fire
I
on it and
disagree.
everyone was following him. And all of a sudden, Shane looks back. There's no one
John,
there.
John,
No one cares about the short V anymore.
John, no
It was
offense.
a variant in Toy Fair magazine back in
Okay,
the
but
90s.
how can you disagree? The figure has been $15 for 45 years,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, in the 46th year, it went up to 150.
That's
can't
because
believe we're still
idiots
talking
are
about
willing
this.
to pay that much for it.
And where is it right now in the 46th or in the 47th year? Where is it now?
$20.
Thank you.
No, I'm
So-
just saying it's a variant. It's
Small head Han, big
But,
head.
Charles,
Han.
but what Charles was trying
Small
to say
head,
is,
big head.
Charles wasn't
Orange
saying
hair,
whether it was a variant
brown
or
hair,
not. Charles
blonde
was
hair.
trying to say whether people cared or not. And no, and the answer to that question was no. No
Yeah,
one.
no one cared.
No one cared for 45 years. They only cared for the 46th year. Now the 47th year, no one cares anymore.
Turtleneck.
Brandon's just
Yeah.
over there mumbling over there.
They're so angry about the short V still.
Because-
Turtle had like
You're
a
talking
Han Solo
about
big
the
head and
V.
small head. Oh.
He's
I'm
trying
so
to get a
sick
point
of
across.
this.
We're not listening.
I'm trying
so
to get a
sick of
point,
this
and he's over
freaking-
there talking about turtlenecks.
Because nobody cares about the short V. Why do you keep talking about it? It's taking up so
All right,
much time.
but he's right though. Han, big head, little head, small head, whatever. Leia Bespin, turtleneck, and no turtleneck. Crew
Takes
crew
up
cut,
so
crew shirt.
much time talking about this stupid gonk.
How about this guy's
Gold turtleneck, maroon turtleneck.
Oh no. That's not a thing.
The what?
Let's
He's
just
gold turtleneck and maroon turtleneck.
let's jump right into the topic here.
Totally.
If
Let's
you
go
see
with the squid head.
if you see a squid head, right, and he's listed for over $100, 70, whatever it is, because of his stupid cape is another color, are you calling that a variant? Just yes or no answer around the table. Is that a variant?
I say
So-
it's degradation.
No, it's
not a
degraded.
variant.
I'm gonna call it a variant.
Of course
Of course
you
he
are.
is.
Rebel
Orange cape
Commando.
squid.
You know why? If
Rebel
you
Commando,
took a
painted
squid head
face,
cape,
molded face.
if you took a squid head cape, and you're like, you know what? I want to get this orange, or I want
put in
a maroon
peroxide?
one. You can't do it. Like, it's not possible. You need like 40 more years for the change.
But what Brandon is saying, it wasn't manufactured that way on the card. So that's not a variant. That is a degradation
I
to
mean-
the environment around it.
I
Yes.
don't know if it was on the card orange or not.
There has never been one ever on card, whether it was orange, red, blue, green, purple, whatever. They're all
Burgundy
the one
bib.
color. They're all, well, we're not talking about ladies. They're all that one standard color, and that is it. Which is
I'm
what
going
I
to go
mean.
with their variant.
Of course you are, because
All
you're
right,
gonna do. Charles is doing this only on
Exactly
purpose.
the opposite of what
Yeah.
everybody else is doing.
No, he's
He's
been
doing
saying
this-
that for years. No, he's been saying that for
Yeah.
years.
No, I
He's
have a
said this for
recording.
years.
I have a
He's
recording of him
texting
saying
me,
that
Shane.
it's
He's
not a
texting
variant.
me right now, telling me he's doing it
Show
on
us.
purpose.
Show us. Show us. Show us.
Roll that
Show us. Exactly.
He's been saying that for years. Orange cape for life. He does the hashtag.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean,
on his post.
let's
do
not
you
go
want
that
to
far.
charge more money for the orange cape because it looks cool? Yeah, absolutely.
If someone's willing to pay it,
yeah,
that's their problem.
and if
Charles,
Charles is saying like you can't just make that on your own, you can't just
Yeah,
like,
you
stick it
can't.
outside. I get that. Maybe only a certain factory at a certain time it turned that color, but
Keep
is
putting
it a
stickers on your side
variant?
gunner.
No.
Just keep putting stickers on your side gunner there, Charles.
Jesus.
Luke Jedi, Han Solo again, Han Solo again. Princess Leia, Taiwan Cape, Princess Leia, Cape.
Purple stitch Jawa, white stitch Jawa, orange stitch Jawa, brown stitch Jawa, Jawa stitch Jawa.
Oh, now see,
Jawa
that's a good one.
Jawa.
That's a good one. The
Oh,
Jawas,
God.
because those were on card like that.
He's like
Yeah,
that.
they were. Yeah.
That shrimp guy from Forrest Gump, but it's like Star Wars toys.
Right. So a green Stitch Jawa. You know, we kind of heard the story. You know, through, I guess it came through the grapevine or whatever. Essentially, the story is, you know, in the factories they grabbed whatever color thread they had because they just figured all you're going to see is the cape.
Well, whenever the brown spool ran out and there was no brown left, they just grabbed whatever color. They didn't give a crap.
And I bet you that green thread was from Bib Fortuna at some point, because doesn't he have green thread inside of his cloak typically?
Well, you know, it all depends on when it was released, because we're talking Star Wars figures and then a Jedi figure. So
yeah. What else have we seen in the hobby recently?
To get stuff out and ship it out and get it on the shelves.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine what it must have been like to work in some of those factories, especially in you know, other countries.
Well, you have molded faces, you have painted faces, you have molded torsos.
But those are all variants because they were produced.
Oh
my gosh.
Me and Shane are having our own conversation.
I know. We're supposed to talk about variants here.
No, we're not talking about variants. We're talking about fake variants.
Yes.
Fake variants.
Variants. We're talking about Farrah Fawcett variants.
All right. So what else have we seen in the hobby recently that brought us to this place? What other
Death Star droids?
Death Star droids has
gold Death Star droids
has been the worst I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen such pure garbage in my life being.
I had a customer come in this weekend and say something. He's not on the IC. He's not in any Facebook groups. He comes to my store every Saturday and we talk toys. And he said, "Man, I saw a gold Death Star droid that was, I mean, as gold as C-3PO." And I said, "It's not a variant." And he goes, "Man, I thought I had some." I said, "It's not a variant. What it is, the lacquer that they used at that factory has degraded over the years.
That's a variant.
Turned gold."
So John bought it. John bought it for $3, and now it's on sale for $250 on his shelf.
$275.
I'm okay with you saying and you listing it on the page and saying $200 because it looks cool. I have a problem when you list it for $200 and you say it's a variant. So it's not a variant.
What's the solution to this madness? Is there a solution to this madness?
Charles, shut up, Charles.
The solution would be to state you can list something for whatever price you want, right?
Yes, I'm all for that.
So as long as you state that this is a degraded,
that's a variant.
That's C-3PO?
Gold Death Star droid. That's a variant.
Not a variant.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
That's a variant.
Cool.
It just looks cool. It
does look cool. It does look cool.
Cool. And if you're foolish enough to spend $200 on it, then by all means, go ahead.
If you jump in that water of getting into that, you're going to drown.
I also have some a little collection of R2D2s right there behind me, right there, and they're all lined up because every time I come across another one that's just beat up, stickers ripped, whatever, but the chrome is rubbed off, and you could see different color plastics underneath. I like that. There's one that's red, one that's white, one that's black, one that's yellow, and I also have ones where on one part of the dome, it's degraded enough that it's almost like mother of pearl. It's pearlescent. Have you guys seen that? It just looked cool to me. So I was like, oh, this is different. This is cool. Yep. Brandon's got one.
And again, like these are all things that we've talked about, and not just us. They've talked about this for 40 years. It's been multiple
that's the gray head variant.
Oh, that's the gray head Yoda.
Yeah.
You know how much I bought this guy for?
$3.
$7.
Like $3.
Yeah.
And it was because it was rubbed off and it's got the red on there. So I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. But I'm not paying $200 for this.
These discussions have been brought up multiple times and found to be absolutely false. And now all of a sudden people are bringing it up again and saying it's real. You have like two people that back them up and there's like a movement going on. It's just ridiculous.
And why do you think that is? Do you think that's because there's new collectors coming into the hobby?
I think there's.
Do you think people are trying to dupe the collectors, or do you think
I don't.
Okay, here we go.
I don't think they're trying to dupe anyone, honestly. I really just think they're making themselves believe that it's something more than what it really is.
Somebody told them something back in the day, and now they think that it's a variant.
No,
and
because
I think it is the new people don't know any better, and they're buying it.
Moral of the story is that Star Wars is over 45 years old. The people just cannot fathom and let go that nothing new is coming out. So they're still sitting in their basement eating Cheetos in their underwear. They're not getting laid. They have definitely facial hair. They're definitely overweight, obviously overweight, and they're living in mom's basement. No, John?
I have one here I want to add.
Not living in mom's basement. Shane is
John doesn't live in his mom's basement, guys.
So who here would rather not live in their mom's basement and just not have to do anything? No wife, no kids, nothing. I actually look up to those people.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. It sounds absolutely great.
It's like, how in the world do you swing that?
Here's a good example of exactly. Here's a good example of exactly what we're talking about. So this is my Focus figure, right? So I saw this on eBay. It is so messed up.
Oh, I love that variant.
But I paid $10 for this because it was the legs are green.
Urinal crotch?
Yeah, look at the back. It's so degraded. I was like, you know what? Instead of paying $5 for this is something that's different than the other 30 that I have. I'm going to pay $10 for this because I want that one.
You paid $10 for that? Yeah. You got 5X'd again.
Yeah.
So here's 5X in you every second.
So now, Shane, if you
look at the hair,
if you leave 10 of those outside, dealing with a bunch of idiots, really are.
I know, gaggle of morons.
If we leave 10 of those outside, do you think any of those 10 are going to turn into that color if you leave it outside? Let's just say 20 years.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm saying though. Like if somebody found this in the dirt after 30 years and that's why it's this color, awesome.
I'm actually saying that if you leave 10 outside, you might not even find one.
Right. No, may not even know. That. It might take 1,000 of those.
Exactly, but the whole point of it is that it's not a variant. Everything degrades differently.
Yeah,
like John said,
completely degraded.
Every factory used different paint. Every factory used different paint and like mixtures, whatever it was. So they're all just gonna go bad differently.
And I heard somebody mention earlier in this episode jokingly the pink arms Leia.
Huge movement.
For anybody who's huge movement. Huge. For anybody who's watching this who is a newer collector and doesn't know, we would love to educate you on some of these things. That's a very simple answer. There were vinyl cases. There were, I think, like 5 or 6 different vinyl cases over time that came out. And 2 of them, instead of having beige or gray trays, and when I say the trays,
Shane has every variant.
I'm talking about
everything.
So instead of this gray tray, they
were Han Solo, big head, Luke Jedi, green saber, blue saber.
Shane, if you're about to say that the Leia, the white Princess Leia, has pink limbs because of the tray, I think
some do.
It might, but I've also seen them on card with pink.
Oh,
limbs.
Yeah.
There's just simple degrading too. But whenever you see like some of the capes, you know what? I have a squid head here.
Of course you do, Shane. You have everything.
So look at this squid
every
head.
variant is in your room right now.
This will be obvious to you right away.
Every garbage collector he has right here.
Oh yeah, that's the
brown
cape.
That's the brown hole cape.
It was laying in a red tray, I guarantee you, of a Jedi case or an Empire case, and the thing got dyed. Look at the front of it; you could see.
Please tell me you didn't pay up for that.
No, it just came in a lot. But what I'm saying is, there's some of the figures got discolored from how they were stored.
Correct.
Yes.
So be aware of that as well. If you think something is different and unique and super rare, it might just been poorly stored.
So. A lot of these things are like you like Leia Bouche. You want if you can find one where her right arm is not painted, you're going to buy it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
There's hundreds of thousands of people like you that they want a squid head with red on the cape because they don't have that one. They just want something different.
Right. And I will also say this. There's also a big difference between, calling it a variant and selling it for $227 or throwing it up in a live sale and letting people look at it and bid what they think it's worth.
But don't
You
call
know,
it a variant.
I've seen other live
what you
sales
want.
where there was a gold dome, and the gold dome R2 sold for $150 because there was.
It can sell for $500. I wouldn't care. The minute you say it is a variant, you are tricking someone. You are trying to take advantage of somebody when you say it is a variant. It's a huge difference.
My simple definition of variant or not is if it showed up on the mock like that, that to me is the mistake or the variant. That's
If
it.
you want to list it on a deal no deal and say it's cool looking and this is how it degraded over time, I don't care if it sells for $1,000. We would not be having this discussion at all.
And I'm not.
But when you say it's a variant, you are purposely trying to get over on something.
And I'm not saying that it's on the card like that now. I'm saying that when it was first released in the stores, that if it wasn't a gold dome or a gold figure on the mock 45 years ago, then it's not today.
And if you want to know about a gold dome, obviously there's some that have aged and degraded evenly. I have one on the shelf back here where literally the back of it is gold and the front of it is silver.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it degraded, but just not evenly. Whether it was sitting in somebody's window and got sunlight.
Dimple dome,
leg, Chewbacca, big head, Han, small head.
Shane's like, I have a half silver, half gold dome that I'm willing to let go for $225.
But that goes to show you, like, that's the same degradation as a gold dome. It just didn't happen evenly. So
it's trickery.
Threw it on my shelf because it was something different. But it's to each their own. But
trying to trick people.
Don't try to trick people. Yeah, that's the thing. And some people maybe tricking people unknowingly, like they really do believe because they thought they learned it was a variant. But do your homework, people. If you're going to spend big bucks on what you think is a variant, at least do your homework.
Just ask me or Charles or John or Brandon. You'll be safe.
We're gonna a lot of people.
Brandon's gonna get the what was it? The burgundy turtleneck?
Yeah.
Turtleneck, crew neck, Greenland, Brownland, Merland.
I like the Jawa stitch Jawa. That's my favorite. The Jawa stitch Jawa. Anything else you guys can think of that we've seen recently? I know there's been more, but some are more obvious than others if you've been collecting even for a little bit of time. But
all I'm going to say is that if you guys like that stuff and you think it's cool, buy it. Mm-hmm. If not, I will list some on Rogue 5 for very cheap for $5, $10, because I got plenty here.
Like we always say, collect how you want to collect, and don't let anybody tell you how to collect and what to do with your own figures and your own collectibles. But we just want everybody to be educated. Do your research, right? Like we don't want you to pay $170 for something that is worth $10 because you didn't know any better. We don't want you to get taken.
Because a lacquer mixed over 40-something years and turned it into a different color. Like,
right. Come on. Right. Like if you pay $20 for a green-haired Leia or $10 for, you're going to get taken 10x, Charles says. 10x. But that's not big bucks, right? If you like it and you're willing to spend $20 or $10, do it, man. Do it and enjoy it and add it to your collection, add it to your army, and have fun with it. But
never go past 2x.
2x.
Don't go to 3x.
That's the limit.
Yep.
That's the limit.
2x.
2x.
Very good. All right, guys. I think that is going to do it for this episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Thank you very much for joining us. As always, you can find all of our social links at 5idiotstalkingtoys.com. It will also get you to our collectors page, Rogue 5 Toys. So come hang out with us there. You can buy green chest Dengars from Christopher. You can buy purple prune faces, burgundy neck.
The polka dot legs, those figures are cool.
Jawa stitch Jawa. Jawa stitch Jawa.
Jawa. Yep. The plastic cancer ridden polka dot legs.
That's a cool variant.
That's a cool variant. Yeah.
That is a really good variant.
All right, folks, thanks very much for watching us on YouTube or listening to us on your favorite podcast app. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel because we have Wednesday episodes as well of our wins and whiffs of the week. Those are not on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, so come and watch those shows so that we can share the collectibles with you visually, and come hang out and have fun with us in Rogue 5 Toys. All right, thanks, guys. Another fun episode, and we will see you all next time on 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Bye.
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 Bye. 10x. Bye. 10x.